The famous YouTuber Pewdiepie seems like is becoming an artist, and there seems to be a ton of controversy surrounding it. I have no idea why, whether it's because he is so famous or maybe because he is so good. Some of the videos and video titles that I see floating around on YouTube seem to suggest that he is exceptionally good, but I have no idea. And I have to admit, this whole thing has kinda sparked my curiosity, and I thought, why not find out what the whole deal is and maybe get to the bottom of this and also find out how talented this gentleman actually is.
I drew every day for a year. What's the progress? Was it worth it? So this all
By the way, full disclosure, I have absolutely no idea about Pewdiepie. I've never seen one of his videos, I don't think, so just FYI.
I really enjoyed picking up drawing, so I kept going. This is where it all started, 365 days ago.
Okay, very interesting experiment, I have to admit. And it does look like he starts from absolute zero.
Yes. Man, this is nice to watch. I realize, and maybe other people have said this too, but drawing is more about training your brain to see rather than actually technical with your hand. I think that's a misconception I had. But after 30 days, this was the progress of my first
That is
video.
actually very true what he just said.
And I think I should be, because the progress is definitely there. So this is my progress after 82 days, 84.
Okay,
And I really
wow.
think here's where I peaked in terms of if you wanted to just improve as much as possible in the shortest time. I think just adding colors.
I mean, this is already very telling of like what you can actually achieve when you deliberately practice and set your mind to it. Very interesting indeed. Although I gotta say, not very surprising to me at this point. Up until here, it's more or less what you would expect, I guess.
Anatomy errors, the poor line work, the sketches still being there. Like, it's just nice to look at regardless. But yeah, this is the last thing I drew for my 100-day video, and yeah, it's cute. I did it.
Okay,
Something.
100 days.
So let's check the progress from there on.
Okay, now comes the interesting part, I guess.
Don't do what I did. I just kept drawing the same things. Anime girl, too much anime. just bad, just bad. I was trying to be technical and like give myself notes so I can improve. I wanted to be more consistent. I think that's why I kept doing this.
So I can immediately say that what he's doing is not actually training or learning. It's not really deliberate practice. It's just drawing. He's drawing the same things over and over again, but they also always look the same. And this is what can happen when you just follow the 10,000 hour rule and you just keep doing the same thing over and over again. It's not gonna lead you anywhere, actually. The only thing that really matters is deliberate practice. And deliberate practice, there are many ways you can do it. You always focus on something different that you want to improve upon, and you focus on that and nothing else.
But if I had to redo it, absolutely not. This is where I should have moved on to something else. I should have just drawn anything else. And eventually I did. I really wanted to draw more color, but it takes so much time to do that, and I really felt like I needed mileage more than anything. So just adding a little bit of color, sure, we'll ink it, but that's the most effort I'm gonna get into. Yeah, just sketching random stuff I find online.
It's very interesting to see, though, how much more confident his lines have become. If you go back to the beginning and if you look at like some of the drawings he did on the first page or on day one, you can see like the hesitancy and the insecurity in putting down a line on a blank sheet of paper. But here now you can see like flowing lines that really almost look like he knows what he's doing. So very cool.
People said I had an art background. That was like a rumor that went around, and I guess I take that as a compliment, but no, I do not. I have not studied art. That was the whole point of this video. I was not being disingenuous. I have not drawn since I was a kid, but I love doing Photoshop. Before YouTube, I loved Photoshopping images and creating artworks that way. So maybe in a sense that helped. But I think the biggest sort of thing that helped is that I'm actually older. Like I'm 35 now, and I think if I did this thing when I was younger, I would not have seen the same improvement. But I also think, you know, the improvement I had, anyone can achieve. Like
that's not really true. If anything, it would be the other way around. He would see a lot more progress when he's young. For various reasons, your brain works completely in a different way, and it processes things on a different level. It's really not comparable. But also when it comes to fine motor skills, which drawing is in most part actually, the earlier you train them, the better it is. It's just like playing the guitar or playing piano. The sooner you start, the better you are off training the muscles, the muscle memory, and your brain, the synapses, to have the fine motor skills you need.
People say anyone can draw, and I truly, truly believe that.
Yes, that's very true.
I wrote a blog post. When you draw, it's all about balance. Like if I drew directly, same thing, and anything is like out of proportion, the whole thing just kind of looks weird. So to draw directly, it was so difficult. So I bought this pen. This pen is amazing. It's a brush pen, and if you squeeze it, ink comes out.
Okay.
And you can draw really slim lines or really thick lines really quickly. And I told myself I was going to force myself to use this pen, even though it looks like shit. I was going to really I'm going to use this pen. I need to learn how to draw without the whole circle.
Which requires the fine motor skills and a completely different set of fine motor skills than if you're using a pencil.
Thing again. At least that's what I wanted to do. And it took some time.
Yeah.
It felt like taking 100 steps back, but that's how you have to improve. You know, you have to.
Yeah, this is exactly it. It's just a different set of skills, and the things you can do with a pencil don't necessarily translate to a brush pen or a marker or just a brush, a regular brush, which is super interesting. Most people don't realize that getting good at one thing doesn't necessarily get you good at everything. Sometimes these artistic fields require completely different sets of skills.
But I think something finally sparked in me where before I was like, okay, I just want to draw for the sake of drawing. I don't have any interest in anything. I started drawing manga panels.
Nice.
I started drawing perspective, and I wanted to understand these things. Drawing landscapes. This is Nihei. I love his work so much. So finally, after, I don't know, 300 days of drawing, I picked up an art book.
Okay.
I should have done this ages ago. So I picked up a couple art books, some more technical than others, and I wish I did that sooner. Again, this felt like taking so many steps back because I had no clue how to draw a body. Zero. I had not practiced it at all.
I mean, let's be real. This should have been the first thing that he should have done, I guess.
It feels embarrassing to admit this, but like everyone was so amazed by my 101 that I felt like, okay, well, my year one has to be really good, right? Like, but progress isn't a straight line. Like, I think I was being too hard on myself where I was getting close to a year and I'm like, I don't have anything to show for it. I drew a full body one.
Crazy.
And I'm like comparing it to my 80-day one, and I'm like,
it's
the 80-day one
the
is still better. Even though it's just like full body, it's still better. So yeah, if you want to improve, you have to kind of go through the pain of sucking again, I guess.
If you want to improve, you have to be strategical and deliberate about it. That's it.
It's been so frustrated this entire month. Not only because I wanted to show for the video, but I felt genuinely in me like I can do more. I know I can do more. I know I can do better. And I really wanted that to show. So I really did push myself a lot towards the end here. And that's when I bought an iPad.
Oh no.
Last minute. Super satisfying to draw.
He's
with.
gone over to the dark side,
But obviously
right
it's
off the
very
bat.
different. So again, it was
Digital
like a
art.
last-minute learning curve of me not understanding the program.
But I
and
can understand why.
So let's go through the last thing I drew, which was on the iPad.
If it was up to me, I would take that
To draw bodies.
iPad
I drew
away
this, which
from
I
him
thought was gonna be
right
easy.
away,
And
because it introduces a ton of bad habits when it comes to making art and drawing. Starting off traditionally is so much better because your options are limited, which forces you to get really good at making the right decisions, stuff like that. And you don't have any of that when you're making art digitally. So not my
just made it look weird.
first suggestion for someone who gets started.
Like nothing. And then I thought, okay, I'm gonna really wow you guys. This is gonna be so good. And this is the end result. And I genuinely hate looking.
I mean, it's not bad at all. Actually, if you look at the line work, it's much better than the traditional stuff he did. But drawing lines or making a line drawing is not the same as making a painting. Applying paint requires yet another set of skills. So it's not surprising that it looks like this.
I desperately try to draw something else because I don't know,
Yeah,
like,
all of this,
I
like
felt I could do more.
moving eyes around, etc.
Like it just came out looking
It's
weird
not a
and
it's not a good
unnecessary.
habit
This is supposed
to
be
get
like
used
the
to.
simplest thing ever, like black high contrast.
Because the thing is, actually, what you need to learn as an artist or someone who wants to learn to draw, the most important thing you need to learn is to be able to see like differences between points and lines and proportions. That's really like the main skill you have to acquire rather. You need to be able to see minute differences in coordinates on a two-dimensional plane. That's really the skill you need. And if you're constantly correcting and correcting and correcting, you eventually get there, but it's not the same. Not the same as being able to see it right off the bat.
And I was getting so close to the deadline. I think I have like 20 days left until this video.
Oh, wow.
I drew a full body with perspective, and I thought it came out pretty good. I was okay with this one, but I still felt like I could do more. So I sketched for a couple days, and I told myself I'm gonna give one last effort. I have to really like it to actually sketch it. And this is the last thing I drew. I finished it yesterday, and I think I'm finally happy with it. I finally drew clothes that isn't just black, and I actually put some more time into the hair and like making the lines look nice and small little details and having the high contrast light. Maybe it's wrong, but it's there at least, and I think it makes it more interesting.
Well,
you know, with some
there is no
shadows
right
and
or wrong
different pose, you know, all of it.
when it comes to
I think
those things.
I'm finally happy with it. I think for a year progress, yeah. Am I allowed to be happy?
For a year of progress, am I allowed to be happy? Yes, of course you are. Actually, you can be very proud of yourself and happy. And I gotta say, I think it's beautiful that someone as influential and famous and well-known as Pewdiepie is picking up art and drawing. I'd be lying if I said I don't care what it is he's doing. I would rather have him make art traditionally or paint even. When it comes to progress and talent and those kinds of things, well, this is not a real representation of what 1 year of progress actually is. Not at all. Not even close, to be honest. I have taught hundreds, thousands of people actually in real life. I have taught hundreds of thousands of people online. And if you put your mind to it and if you practice deliberately, the transformation you will have from day 1 to day 365 is gonna be insane. You won't believe it. And it's not gonna look like this. This is the version where you just aimlessly draw and try out stuff because you like drawing, but this is not real practice and not real progress. So not representative of what you can achieve in a year. I have to say so, honestly, unfortunately.
It took a lot of pain to get there.
It's still cool though.
Let's compare. Day 1, day 365.
Yeah. Yeah, if he did practice deliberately, he would be on a whole nother level right now.
Maybe you guys disagree, but I feel like I finally beat my 80-day whatever. This is still better. I don't.
It's better because it's traditional, I'm telling you.
Every once in a while, I find something that I really, really, really love, and I will continue doing no matter what. And I think art might just be one of those things for me.
I really hope so.
As a kid, and I don't know why I stopped, but I'm so happy.
Everyone stops. That's the thing. When people ask me, what made you become an artist? What made you fall in love with art and drawing? I'm always saying the same thing. I just didn't stop. Unlike everyone else on the planet, I just didn't stop. I just kept doing it.
Happy to be back doing it. It feels like I never stopped. I wanted this whole thing also.
Yeah, that's what art can do.
Inspiring. I want other people to have this experience as well. So yes, thank you everyone.
Let's go back to his last drawing. Yeah, I think it's fantastic that someone as influential as him is interested in art and getting people excited about it. But at the same time, I have to be 100% real with you. Pewdiepie is not particularly talented, not more or less talented than anybody else I've ever seen pick up a pencil that has never done anything similar before. So his progress is not exceptional. It's not surprising. If anything, it's not as impressive as it could have been if he was practicing deliberately, but it's all really not very surprising to me. I think it's a very great example for everyone who still believes that it is about talent, either born with it or not, which is totally not the case. There is no real thing that you can point to and say, this is talent and this is not talent. It's just different personalities, different people, different interests, I guess. And some people can get super excited for some things and really get lost in them. And they have maybe a bit of a obsessive personality, which also can help, like I do myself. And some people can't. And it seems like he's been bit by the bug, I guess, the art bug. And I love it. I would love to see where he goes. I would love to see him paint. I'll be honest. Maybe if he wants to learn it, he can reach out to me whenever he wants. I can turn him into a painter. I don't need more than, let's say, 60 days or so. He will paint better than probably 90% of the people making art on TikTok. Very cool video. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you think about talent, PewDiePie, etc. And let me know what the controversy is. I don't really understand it. So let me know in the comments down below. And I see you guys in the next video. Bye.